Yes. Yeah, clear eyes, navy caps, can't lose. And Jackson Burkett is wearing his today. And you just tipped your cat to the audience on YouTube.
It's borderline doffing.
Gather around because Droid Effects is in there. So is is that Dr. Grizz? And then MD 2020, and you were a Purple Passion guy.
Electric Melon, but it all came out the same color when you yak it up.
A.J. Brown of the Eagles is in there as long as Alan Dadeville.
What's up, Bulldogs?
I think he's on. Alan Dadeville, you on the under of the Georgia 11 or 10.5 win total? You got to be. He's a reasonable Georgia fan, I think.
That schedule's nasty.
It's rough. Jackson, you've got a hell of a program prepared here for On Balloon Party, which is presented to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. It's called what?
Well, Tim.
Talk into the microphone. We've been doing the show 30 months. This is basic stuff.
Well, Tim.
Yep.
I feel like without proper context, it won't make as much sense. So I'll set it up, and then
I think that's a smart move. That's a sophisticated veteran move.
Yeah.
Well, real quickly, Tim, were you at Top Golf yesterday? I was not. I'd be surprised that many people were. Kind of a rainy
I guess
Tuesday.
that's.
I think people are starting to confuse me for the ghost of Mickey Carroll. So I think that's what was there. That's correct, Jackson. Here is Jackson's sound, which will give you context.
Yeah, so the setup to it is in the 8th inning last night, Jojo Romero on the mound, bases loaded, 1 out, and the Angels seem to try a suicide squeeze play.
Seem is probably a good word because the runner on third, Zach Neto?
Yeah, Neto.
Didn't seem really all that committed to the squeeze. Kind of was what coaches in CYC would call lollygagging. Kind of lollygagging down the third base line. The squeeze was missed, and Ron Washington, I'm surprised there are even reporters covering this team, but there are reporters in Southern California covering the Angels, and they asked about the call for the squeeze. Here is the former Rangers manager who was nearly as important to the 2011 World Championship here as David Freese, giving his thoughts on the failed squeeze play.
Guillerme missed it, but why did you want to call for that?
Lefty on lefty. I didn't sink a ball left-hander. I didn't want him to hit into a double play. He can handle the bat. He didn't do the job. It wasn't anything I did wrong. He didn't do the job.
Some good at-bats.
I would have rather went to the 9th inning with a 6-6 lead than to went to the 9th inning the way we did. It didn't work out.
When a pitcher is that wild, does that make it a little tougher to...
Wow. He was throwing the ball in the strike zone. Why are you making excuses? He was throwing the ball in the strike zone. He did not get the bunt down. Period.
So today's pack of questions, Tim, is called the Ron Washington School of Leadership and Accountability.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a school. That's a wonderful school.
Yeah, that was... So I stayed up a little later than I usually do.
Were you snuggling last night?
No snuggling. I was Han Solo.
Oh, really? Is that right?
Yeah. Just,
With that Sibian?
Well, yeah, you're never alone when you have refurbished work like a Sibian. But regardless, I was the only human present in my home last night. And I was like, you know what? It's to this point, Jojo Romero is going to go. I'll watch Jojo shut him down the 8th, and I'll go to bed.
If they weren't wearing the Navy caps, you probably would have switched over to the Canucks and Oilers, and what a finish that was.
Yeah, once I found the channel. Either way, I would have just gone to bed. But I was like, you know what? I'll watch Jojo pitch this 8th inning, and that'll be that. And kind of works through, gets 2 outs, and then he starts throwing the bender. He starts throwing the bender to a guy.
Ron Washington said he was throwing it right over the middle of the plate.
He wasn't. He got 3-2.
You saw something differently.
He was 3-2 on every single at bat, even against righties. He's still throwing that bender, which
tight strike zone by the home plate.
I was screaming, "Throw the heat! Throw the heat, JoJo! Give him the heat! Gas it! High cheddar!" But regardless, a guy Kieran Paris was in Double-A like a week ago and facing. I was like, throw 95 on the corner. He won't touch it. Either way, Guillermo comes to bat, and they throw a ball way outside because he had been wild, and the runner was like halfway home. It was like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing now.
Nearly got the old, what would that have been? The 1-2-5 double play?
Yeah.
Would it have been a 2-5 double play?
If he struck out, I don't even know what you would call that.
Yeah, but the guy was almost out.
Oh,
of
that's
third.
right. Almost out of third. Yeah. If he's behind the plate, he's probably out at third because Bayhouse was a little late on the throw. But he also huge block in that inning with JoJo. JoJo threw one really wild, and he had a great block with the runner on third. That was huge.
Ron Washington strikes me as a delightful gentleman. And as much as probably 99.9% of those of you hearing what is candidly one of the best voices in the history of St. Louis broadcasting, right now, we're happy when the Cardinals won that World Series. There's a part of me who saw the look of sadness and confusion and false hope on his face that made me feel badly for him. So I would love to see him have success with the Angels. However, that is one of the worst teams I've seen play Major League Baseball in a very long time.
Yep.
They are horrible.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday, the first 2 runs the Cardinals score. Wild pitch, get somebody home. Nice. Love it. Love to see it. And then the next hard ground ball to third.
Cole Tucker, who is like 24, but has bounced around a variety of organizations, even though he was a highly touted prospect with the Fighting Pirates, but they have a log jam too.
And the dugout is right behind him. And I assume they're yelling, 1-1. And he just rears back and fires a ball nowhere near the catcher. It goes flying. The run score. I mean, it's just throwing it around the infield left and right. They kept saying on the broadcast, an ode to the 06 Detroit Tigers.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that was the case. They are, and that's back-to-back games.
Yeah, back-to-back games.
With defensively,
That is an operation.
Awful.
But the Cardinals, Jackson, have won 3 in a row, and let it be said once again, undefeated, wearing the Navy caps, which they sported in 2006 and 2011 en route to a world championship. The Navy caps they wore in 96, in 2000, in 2001, in 2002, and 2005, 2004, 2005, 2009, 2012, and we're not sure on 2013.
That's
getting
still
conflicting information.
We are.
But either way, they switched to the red caps, and now they play
worst.
slap and tickle.
They look like a baseball
I want to see
team.
real momentum here for these Navy caps. Chance for a sweep tonight. Lance Lynn on the mound.
Yep.
Jackson's surprised that it's a night game in L.A. because the Cardinals have the day off tomorrow and then begin one of the best homestands of the year.
Yep, Red Sox first, then O's, then Cubs.
That's correct.
That's a great homestand.
It is a great homestand.
Looking forward to watching that. Yeah, and it seems like the players are really embracing the Navy. Like you saw Mason win last night. Navy batting gloves, Navy cleats.
Helsley with the Navy cleats.
Navy cleats.
That's a sharp look.
I think Siani had the Navy sleeve on. Guys are wearing. They like the Navy. Like they're clearly like, hey.
Remember asking Holiday and Freeze about the Navy thing because they were both with the team when they made the switch. So it must have been 13 because Freeze was gone after 13.
Yep.
So they made the switch after 12. God, why'd they do that? They're both like, yeah. And then I remember Freeze saying, I wouldn't mind seeing the Powder Blues.
Yeah.
Powder Blues have not been well received, although what they're lost right now somewhere with
They're
the Nike debacle.
nether regions.
So they're nether regions. I've never heard it described as nether regions unless you're describing
The netherworld.
something to like your children, explaining the birds and bees.
It might as well be in Timbuktu. They're nowhere. And
I like that.
And either way, they would look terrible with these new units. Like Sonny Gray last night in the third inning was sweating through his jersey. It was gross looking. It's just not. It's so bad. But getting a win last night on not the best Sonny Gray start. I mean, outside of one pitch, he was really okay. But he threw a meatball to O'Hoppe, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
That's not who you want necessarily rifling one off you. But you get a win on the start where Sonny Gray gives up 5. Yeah, even if you're playing the
Back-to-back
Angels.
rough starts for him.
Yeah. But a lot
I don't
of
know what to
it's
say.
like one.
It's really surprising to me.
It's home runs, if I'm not mistaken, on the start before.
I built out some DFS rosters, and I'm like, oh, Sonny Gray against the Angels. More, please. He's only owned by 10% of the field, too. I'm like, what's everybody on here tonight?
Right.
Sonny Gray against the Angels all day long. But then he wound up kind of getting slapped around a little bit in the 5th inning.
Yeah, 5th inning was bad. But
Look good, play good. That's from FedEx Colton. FedEx
agree
Colton,
more.
you're right on target is what you are.
Couldn't agree more.
Tim, you'd be more delightful, too, if you weren't jacked up on nose candy all the time.
Oh, nose beers.
You know what? Honestly, I really wouldn't mind if I were. The unfortunate thing is my life truly is sit at home, 6-year-old, 2-year-old, and Steve Harvey's Family Feud at 20 after and 10 till.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if I can go Fast Money.
Fast Money is the best.
That's where I am. I don't even really have much booze, much less White Horse. But, you know what? When I get this worked up about the Navy Caps, I probably sound like a man, like Tony Montana. Scarface, good or bad?
Scarface is good, but it's not the iconic movie that it kind of...
Many in the rap community would have you think it is.
Yeah, its legacy, I think, supersedes its actual content. But, I love Al Pacino going for it. I love Al Pacino in damn near everything he's in.
Son of a Woman.
Son of a Hoo-ah. Yeah, I mean, like some of that stuff. Heat, he's very over the top. You want to talk about nose candy. But, some of his more reserved roles, like Michael Corleone, are some of the best work ever.
It's all a ploy. The Cardinals are on board with the Navy Caps, so they've been in an offensive slump on purpose and start a streak with the Navy Caps and then turn things around with them. Interesting. So the team wants the Navy Caps, and so they're only hitting when they get to wear them.
As like a I'd be able to make that.
Yeah, to make the organization.
I'd sacrifice 2024 if that meant Navy Caps in perpetuity.
Wow, look at you.
I would give up this season because I know it seems like everything's going so right. So, why would you give up on the season? But I would.
Tim, who made the change for the Red Caps back in 2013, please answer. It's from the 314. It's like a message in a bottle.
Yeah, please.
Bill DeWitt III did. And I am a fan of Bill DeWitt III. I realize he was kind enough to do some...
Yeah.
An interview, I guess, with Martin Kilcoyne, and then took hell for it. But I think he's a good guy. I just totally disagree with the red thing. He said, well, the Cardinals are red, so you wear red. Well, I mean, Red Sox are red. They have a Navy cap.
And a damn fine Navy cap, but that they go home and away in that thing. And it looks great. It looks great.
Carlito's Way is better than Scarface. That's from the 314.
That's a take. And they're both B-level mob movies or organized crime movies, in my opinion.
You effers got me. I looked up goodorbad.com yesterday. That's from the 314. Jackson, when you go to goodorbad.com, what do you see?
Probably like a GoDaddy link.
So you haven't even bought the site yet. I wired you $250,000 for my investment, and I still haven't seen a monetization strategy.
I think we have a meeting in 2026 for a progress report, and by then we'll have our ducks in a row.
So wouldn't it make sense to just have my money sitting in a high-yield savings account, or should I take my counsel from Sam Page and Tashara Jones and just let it sit somewhere?
Well, we want access to it in case of incidentals. Who knows what will come up.
Got it.
We don't want to be stuck in a situation where we're not liquid.
Guys, Navy caps are essentially nose candy. That's not a bad take.
Yeah.
Are we giving out any awards today?
We should, and if we were, that person would be getting it.
Eric Cleveland in the YouTube chat, Navy caps are fire. Wow,
Yeah.
This is bringing everybody together, the Navy cap cause.
It's not even a question. Everybody wants it. The Cardinals play better with it. The only people who are against it are the shirt tuckers and
the shirt tuckers.
One card
the
away.
shirt tucker thing. I don't even know what that means.
I'm trying to speak for the blue collar folk.
But you can't.
No, I can't. I can try. And I'm trying to represent for them. Even though I might align more with some of the people who deal with the P&Ls in one Cardinal way.
From the 573. Let's get one thing straight here. I like that.
Yeah, it's always inviting.
This little winning streak has nothing to do with blue caps. It has everything to do with playing a team that is worse than my son's 11U team throwing a baseball around a yard. It's in the 573. Got to be honest with you. I think this guy might be onto something.
Yeah, he might be. But you only play who they put on your schedule. And you beat the teams.
You got to beat them.
You got, we saw what happened when the White Sox came to town.
Didn't beat them.
They got 2 out of 3 out of St. Louis. Can't have that happen again. So even as bad as the Angels are, if you go and sweep, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
All right. Hey, Jackson, I agree with you.
Yeah, man. And you got the Red Sox and Orioles and Cubs coming into town next week. You want to go in there with a winning streak.
Judging by the last 2 games, the pitching, I don't think the pitchers like the Navy caps. That's from the 636.
I don't know about that. Bullpen's been great. Ryan Helsley he's an outstanding pitcher.
I'm blue collar, and I love the term shirt tucker. Good work at winning us over, Jackie boy. That's from Marcia's burner.
Nice. Well, that's a W.
That's win.
That's a W.
If you get the support of the Grape Ape Auto Detailing, that's when you know you've broken through. That's my guy, by the way.
Or the Don.
The Navy cap is the Mizzou Block M Elite. That's from Clayton Davis in the YouTube chat. How about that take?
I get where you're coming from. Like the
Jackson's about to disagree with you, Clayton Davis. Just be ready for it.
the comparison is right, but I like the oval tiger. I like not to say I don't like the red cap. I love the red cap at home. I don't love the red cap on the road. I like Block M Missouri helmets. I like the oval tiger. I don't like the little sailor tiger that can get out. I love the tiger script on the side. I think that looks great.
You think that's where the people would vote?
No, they would definitely vote Block M.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. If they put out...
I think it's kind of broken down by generation.
Right, if you're like my age,
yeah,
you're probably
you like
oval.
the oval.
Yeah, it's kind of what we're just used to.
Yeah. All right, you can text in 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line, and you can watch and participate in the YouTube chat. Todd Bono says it's a shame that this little winning streak is going to take some heat off the main issue, player development, evaluation, etc. I don't think. I mean, if you're like, I give my take based on what happened in the last 24 hours, then yeah, but I don't think that's the way that it works.
It's 162 games, man.
You know, this is not, you know, I don't think so. But maybe Todd is right. I don't know. I could be wrong. All right, we'll take a break. Come back with more Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Hey, this is Tim McKernan for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold, mildew, or broken tiles, you got to call the good people at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. And how about this? You call today, 314-347-0410, and you get $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. My word, what a deal there from the Bath Authority. Their modern, durable tubs and showers are designed with an exclusive high-tech polymer liner. What that means to you is it'll be low maintenance, resistant to mold and mildew, easy to clean, and last for decades. Plus, comes with a lifetime warranty. So, elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Call today, 314-347-0410 to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,500 off a new shower or bath. Plus, 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions apply. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits. Yeah. What's today's series of Jackson Burkett questions on Balloon Party? Driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota.
Today is Ron Washington School of Leadership and Accountability.
All right, let's see what we got here. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Jackson Bennett Burkett, Ladue, class of 2016.
2016. Speaking of Ron Washington, he is really the gift that keeps on giving. When looking back to 2000, who are some of the all-time Cardinal villains or Cardinal killers who seem to always have it out for the Birds? And who are some of the recipients of the Ron Washington Award, guys who can't seem to make it work against our local nine?
I don't like this question. I'll tell you why. Well, I was going to give you my reasoning.
Okay.
Like Don Corleone to Sollozzo, Joe Torre. Kind of puts me on the spot.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like to, it's like there's right answers, there's wrong answers. Did you have anybody?
I remember Jason Bay would always kill the Cardinals.
Bay which?
Jason
Did
Bay.
he really?
I felt like he always did. I felt like Wandy Rodriguez would always pitch well.
Wandy Rodriguez, Tom Candiotti. I think he was pre-2000 knuckler.
Just like guys who seem to always tear up the Cardinals. I don't know. I just like Ron Washington would certainly be on the other side of that. Someone who you're like, ooh, he's managing the team across the dugout or across the diamond. Nice.
I mean, the Cardinals, for as great as he has been, I realize he's now tailing off, but they've owned Clayton Kershaw in the postseason, so that would be one.
Big time. Ron Washington.
But Ron Washington just strategically really, the Cardinals dominated the home games. They led every one of them, or won every one of them. At one point in the ninth inning or later, they lost Game 2 of the 2011 World Series, and they were leading and were on the verge of going up 2-0. And he just struggled in the National League ballpark with the National League.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different deal now with the DH, but in 2011 it was a different deal, and it was noticeable. It really was. It was kind of rough. And like I said, in a way, I feel badly for him, so I'd like to see him get his world championship, considering he was a strike away twice. And guys who played for him, he was in Oakland as a coach.
Atlanta?
He was a Moneyball. Yeah, he's been in Atlanta since the 2011 World Series, but he was in Oakland before. And and anybody, like, people just love that guy. Wash.
Yeah.
But the Angels are, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if the roster's terrible so much as just the way they play.
Yeah. I heard Jimmy Ballgame on the broadcast last night.
Long-time Angel.
Yeah. So he was talking to Garrett Anderson, who he played with the Angels. And he was like, the Cardinals just have guys who aren't playing well right now. The Angels have no players. And I was like, that's honestly the case.
That's kind of
how it is. Outside of Trout, who's hurt.
Yeah.
They got nothing. And they've had kind of nothing, even with Trout and Ohtani. They've yet to be able to put an actual, championship contending team together. Trout never won a playoff game?
I remember when they signed Pujols. I'm just like, oh, what a break for the Cardinals. That is so huge. And then they signed Josh Hamilton.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any pitching. And I'm just like, this is the case, and I don't know anything about how Artie Moreno made his money, but it just struck me as a guy who doesn't have anybody, or didn't at the time, and I don't know about now, anybody in the boardroom with him pushing back.
Yeah.
You always need a dissenter, even if the person doesn't necessarily really feel that way, but to play devil's advocate. Because if you had a baseball person in that boardroom with any credibility and also the nerve to say something, go, hey, man, we can't give out these contracts to these guys. These guys are both aging, and we don't have any pitching. We're not going to win.
Yeah.
This isn't going to work. That was a disaster.
Now it has me thinking, who is the most successful B franchise in the city? Like the Angels would be the B franchise for the Dodgers, Clippers B franchise to the Lakers. I don't know if you would call Yankees or Mets either B franchises.
The Mets are the B franchise.
Yeah.
I guess. And the Jets are the B franchise.
Really?
Yes. The money in New York is with the Yankees and Giants.
Okay. Who would be the most successful of those B franchises? Maybe White Sox can't be the answer. They have one world championship in the 21st century. I don't know if any other of those B franchises do. I'm really trying to think here. I don't know. There's only so many. It's not like, I guess Chicago has 2 baseball teams. Devils, maybe? Maybe the Devils. Maybe the New Jersey Devils.
Martin Berthier.
I think that might be the answer. People text in.
You're activating.
I'm trying to. I don't know.
Especially with the Ron Washington School of Leadership.
Well, I'm trying to give out for the rest of my career anytime I see somebody, display the excellence and leadership and accountability like Ron Washington, I'm going to give them the Ron Washington Award.
Yeah, I like that.
Of leadership and accountability. Like Ollie Marmol would have received it retroactively for the Tyler O'Neill situation last year.
That was something else.
Yeah, that was... Well, he's in Boston now.
Struggling,
yeah.
Jackson, do you have another question? Try to carry your momentum.
Yeah, I'm red hot. This is a bigger... Yeah, well, I'll just ask. I don't give a damn. The Blues and their alternate reality situation is something that really interests me.
Wow.
And I feel it all...
You're going hockey on question 2.
Right.
Somebody said Warriors. How about that? But they're not.
Who would be their...
I saw an NBA team and I figured it'd get you going.
Sacramento? They're not in the same market.
Right.
No, wrong.
Never talk NBA with Jackson.
Well, don't talk about it inaccurately. Now I lost my place.
Jackson knew the New Jersey Devils existed. It's from the 941.
People forget that's half my family is from Jersey and New York.
And you think the coasts are better than...
Like, in terms of living? Yeah.
Text it.
Yes, I think they are better
9646
than landlocked.
My goodness.
Unbelievable. Heartland. I call it the Heartland. Either way, all right, where'd I go? Pull it together, boy. All right, the Blues and their alternate reality situations is something that really interests me, and I feel it all tracks back to the pandemic from 2019 on.
Wow, this is like a good question.
Mm-hmm. You seem surprised.
Well, because it involves hockey, and this is the second straight day where your first questions has kind of been slappy.
Well, my first question was about the Navy Road Caps and how bad the Angels are, but we covered that in the first segment. Then we also
that is an operation.
My second question was about Ron Washington's post-game presser. Covered that. Yeah. So the third one was this.
Okay. All right, I get it. I follow.
Okay, I got to get back on track. From 2019 on, please explain each significant moment that materially changed the team and see if my idea is right, that a lot of these wrongs could have been righted if they were able to finish the 2020 season. Do you think the Blues are living the ideal reality or in the dark version of what could have been a fruitful stretch?
I mean, to me, everything kind of stops and starts with Alex Pietrangelo, and I don't think that 2020 finishing means he stays.
So even if best case scenario, they raise the chalice back to back. You still don't think he's
I think something that probably flies under the radar for the average fan, not the hardcore fan, Jay Bomeister.
Right.
That's a big thing. Now that you said you took it back to 2019 though. You didn't take it back to COVID and like March 12th, 2020. No. Bomeister happened before that. But that would fly under the radar, I would imagine. I don't know, because I don't know if this was necessarily a roster thing, but I really do think the Blues, I don't want to say it could have, is obvious because they took him to Game 6, and it was seconds before overtime in Game 6. But what if Kadri doesn't run Binnington?
Yep.
In 2022? I realize that didn't necessarily have anything to do with like a roster construct, but what if they win that thing?
Yeah, what changes? What changes if the Blues beat the Avalanche?
That's a real thing. I don't. This Craig Berube thing is. Kelly Chase did an interview, I think, in Toronto yesterday, and he's just like, "You guys, you're so frustrated with the way your team plays in the playoffs, and understandably so, considering they don't really enjoy winning series, even though they get there." And he was talking about how Berube came in, and Chase a huge fan of Steen, and he's like, Alex Steen, Berube went to him. He goes, what you will love is and what players love and the media loves is how direct he is. People appreciate that it's like the exact opposite of what people, I think, are frustrated by with the Cardinals, for example.
Yeah, right.
And said to Steen, listen, you're used to being up here. We need you to go down to what most people would call the third or fourth line, but then think about how important the fact that the Blues could roll 4 lines was in the playoffs and play with Sundqvist and get what they did done when they would roll that line out. I mean, that was a huge part of that team's success. And so he's like, he might have to go in if he gets the job, and it's him or Todd McClellan, I think, and say, hey, to Mitch Marner, listen, until you get it going again, you might have to drop down from where you're used to being as a premier guy. That's the kind of operation he will run. So there is no lack of accountability there. So, yeah, when the Blues, have the situation that they have now, and, from my standpoint, it was clearly not necessarily their first choice to go with Drew Bannister, and then that's who you choose to go with for the long term. That doesn't really speak to the Berube thing. I always have to put the disclaimer out there, though. It's like when I talk about the Cardinals should have traded Goldschmidt and looked at trading Arenado last year. You don't know. If both of them said we're not going anywhere, we have no trade clauses, and if there was something going on behind the scenes with Berube, I don't know what it would have been, or a player in Berube, I have no idea. But outside looking in, I just really don't understand that move, and I think that one could smart for a while.
So safe
because again, what I was about to say is if Bannister were their first choice, they're not waiting to see if the Leafs, come baback and beat Boston.
Right. So safe to say the Blues are not living out their best possible reality, in your opinion.
No. Not, because you re-sign Alex Pietrangelo.
Yeah, that's where the thread breaks.
That to me is the moment.
That's the diversion.
Jackson, I want you to listen to me because you're so astute, so wise for 26.
Thank you.
You cannot replace the irreplaceable. Think about that for me.
Wow.
Now what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Rudy Gobert can't be getting cooked like that by Nikola Jokic.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened
player
right
of the
there.
year.
I was just making a presentation on Pietrangelo and answering your question, and you started talking about Rudy Gobert.
He's defensive player of the year. You got to do. I mean, I know
you're doing your own show. You're doing a separate presentation now.
Like I said, with the reality breaking off when Pietrangelo, my reality broke off.
And then you went
about 5 minutes ago. I don't know how. You got to be better.
Ant-Man tipping this cap. So from my standpoint, that's it. That's it. Now, that doesn't mean that they would have won the cup that Vegas won last year.
Right.
But you cannot replace the irreplaceable. And guess what? There will always be a market for the irreplaceable.
Yeah.
There will always be a market for the irreplaceable. You mess around with the irreplaceable is going to go somewhere else. And you're going to be going, man, it sure would be nice to have the irreplaceable back. You did it. Torrey Krug, is he irreplaceable?
Yeah, I'd replace him.
He is.
Yeah, I would.
You say Torrey Krug is irreplaceable?
No, replaceable.
Oh.
I thought you said replaceable.
No.
Irreplaceable.
Just go back to thinking about Rudy Gobert, I think at this point.
Yeah. Well, now you've maybe freestyle a question maybe for the next segment.
Oh, wow. That's a deep tease. Tell the people what you're going to do.
Oh, the list of, give me a second here. Irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. I only have 2 good ones in me, so don't even try for a third one. I have to do it now, though. Irreplaceable players since 2000 in St. Louis sports.
Wow, what a question.
And this will give you and the audience time. You and the audience time. Yeah.
Text inbox Air Comfort Service.
Make your case.
Line. Yeah, 314-399-9646. You can also communicate via the YouTube chat. That is how you can communicate. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN.
This is Action Jackson with a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals win last night, making it 3 in a row. They defeated the Angels, final score of 7-6. They finish off trying to sweep the Angels tonight. 8:07 is your first pitch. Lance Lynn will take the mound for the Cardinals. And last night in the NBA, the Knicks defeat the Pacers 121-91. The Knicks now take a 3-2 series lead. And the Nuggets defeat the Timberwolves behind a 40-point double-double for reigning MVP Nikola Jokic. They also take a 3-2 lead in that series. That was another SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back. This is Balloon Party, 101 ESPN, 1042 in St. Louis. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you on the program. Jackson, your question leading into our bottom of the hour commercial break. Since 2000, give me the names of irreplaceable players in St. Louis sports. Is that what your question?
Yeah. Well, it's on the heels of your poignant quote, you cannot replace.
The irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Daddy Padre is
he an option?
No, he's texting into the show, though. Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. And he's a former Blues backup goaltender.
Right.
So this is coming from inside the room.
Right. Literally a replacement.
That's correct. If Petro does not leave, they are still a playoff team. That is from Daddy Padre, and he was in the room with Petro.
Yeah, you got to think about that, being closer to the situation, being in the room with those guys. He'd be more privy to the information.
Albert Pujols answering the question.
Yeah, I think, honestly, the big three, Waino, Pujols, Yadi.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, then you start starting people we like. I don't know. If
I'll make the case.
Yes.
I can make the case.
All right, go ahead, make the case.
Albert, you can't replace because of who he is offensively. I mean, that's irreplaceable. We're probably never going to see an
Use that for your resume reel.
We're probably never going to see an offensive player like him. It goes without saying. Yadi, for his lead by example warrior mentality. That's a rare breed nowadays. And Waino for his ability to command the clubhouse. And even when not as effective as a pitcher in his later part of his career, even though up until the last season he was effective, still command the love and the respect of the clubhouse. I don't know if that's players just playing in one place for a long time is rare. So those three outside of Albert.
I love Adam Wainwright. I just don't know if I would call him irreplaceable. Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina. I'm just being honest, even though I know it's probably not a popular take. It's got to be honest. I mean, we're talking irreplaceable, irreplaceable. I'm interpreting that literally. And if we're going since 2000, Marshall Falk. Yeah. I go back to that.
Warner. They didn't have a better quarterback after.
Mark Bulger was pretty good. Boy, let me tell you something. As far as a weird time for sports talk radio, right when I was starting out, what a weird thing that was. Yeah. There was a lot of religious stuff going on then.
Really?
Yeah. Now everything's for some people political. Uh-huh. You seem like you know. Yeah. That was like religion. It was a weird deal. But anyway, I feel like I'm leaving some out.
Blues-wise?
I think Chris Carpenter could be considered irreplaceable.
Yeah, maybe a little bit over Waino. Waino also, too, the St. Louis sports ambassador, a real ambassador. I don't know if we're going to have that.
This is business. It's never personal. Wesley Snipes said that in New Jack City, 1991. Wesley Snipes.
Love Wesley Snipes. When they replaced Wesley Snipes in Major League 2, what a hit. I mean, that's just not
what was that about? I assume you know, being as close to Hollywood as you are.
Well, there was the Major League 2 thing is all weird. It's supposed to be the next season, and Charlie Sheen has clearly aged 10, maybe even more years. Maybe not physically, but mentally, certainly. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem right.
What about Scott Bakula of Kirkwood High School?
What about him?
Well, he was in the Major League Series.
That's right, yeah. Was he in the third one or the second one?
I think he was in the third one.
The third one is hot garbage.
What about Corbin Burnson from L.A. Law?
The third times around for sports movies, it's a losing enterprise. Rocky is the only one who.
But after the success of Caddyshack 2, why hasn't there been
It's the exhibit A of why some things are best one time only.
Orlando Pace is getting a lot
Great
of text,
call.
and that is an
Great call.
outstanding call. And I couldn't agree more. And the fact that I didn't mention him at the outset speaks to how the offensive lineman is the most underappreciated position in sport.
Aeneas Williams, maybe.
I don't know. Chris Pronger's a nice play.
Pronger, yeah. Shat Deuces.
Tim, what's your problem? Deuces. What's your problem with Trung? Cannon, of course, logically drafted in the first round 3 months after the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Tavon Austin.
And they drafted a project in the second round, Jacoby Shepard. What a weird... Well, we've had some strange drafts with our St. Louis football franchises, going back to the Cardinals in the 80s and the Rams.
Like, both sides of the craziness. Because, like you said, you just named those gentlemen, Trunk candidate and others. And then also, like, oh, okay, we'll get Aaron Donald in the middle of the first round or late first round. And, yeah, we'll take this.
I remember going on the air the next day and mad as a hornet that they didn't draft Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
That take, strong.
That didn't pan out.
Ronnie Belliard getting some votes.
Great second baseman. Great. He'd always have his tongue out. I liked that.
See some Brett Hull votes. Jackson, you said, though, starting in 2000, correct?
I did, yeah, 2000. And I'll give 5 years on each end. So 5 years in the future.
Guys, Ali Marmol is apparently irreplaceable.
Yeah. Mosaic.
Roman Berkey.
Yeah, we're a little.
This is where Jackson.
I love soccer. I like the soccer team. But we're a little bit in the infancy of the franchise. So let's let a couple more years play. I love Roman Berkey, and I think if he can bring Marco Royce to City. Oh, my God.
Listen to Jackson. London Fletcher. Crazy. Jamie Duncan was not the answer. That's a nice, kind of obscure, but you're right on target. They let Fletcher go after the Super Bowl 36, and Jamie Duncan did not answer the bell for that. Replacing Rudy with Piddles has been terrible. That's from Dr. Grizz. Who's Rudy?
Hell's Rudy?
Dr. Grizz, you'll have to leave a mic drop.
Chicken legs. Rudy was married to chicken legs.
That's correct. Caller into TMA. All right, we got a break. 10:48 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. This is Balloon Party. Driven by Mungan S. St. Louis Acura, Mungan S. Burkhardt, Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN. Mungan S. St. Louis Acura, Mungan S. Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, the presenting sponsor of Balloon Party on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. It's where I go to get my cars, where my family goes to get our cars, where we get to get our cars serviced, and it's where I recommend you go as well. It's Mungan S. St. Louis Acura, Mungan S. Burkhardt, Alton Toyota online. It's stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. And they have a deal right now for TMA listeners, and we'll make it for Balloon Party listeners as well. Here's the deal. 2024 Acura MDX Premium. No money down. 48-month lease, $589 a month. Oh, my goodness. A brand new car with no money down and $589 a month. That's what they got right now for you at Mungan S. St. Louis Acura and Mungan S. Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Plus, they have a number you can call or text to communicate directly with the people in charge, such as the great Jamie Burkhardt. And that number is 314-252-0029. It's Mungan S. stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. Our presenting sponsor is Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota. It is 10:53. We have 7 minutes. Let's make the most of them. Jackson, what are we going to do?
Make the most of them.
Sick.
Use that for a promo writer. Bop, 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 bop.
What about this dead air and the delay tactic of the bop, 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 bop? Is that going to be included in the promo?
Consultants have told us that is the best way to keep people interested.
Is making noises.
Noises, dead air, clearing your throat, coughing directly into the microphone, pandering, all of the above.
Pandering, certainly.
Yeah.
I understand.
And I'll pander right now. And looking at the playoffs in general.
Uh-oh. Are we going NBAing?
Nope. What do you think is the most important factor when it comes to surviving and advancing? Do you think coaching and veteran leadership, star power?
Which playoffs are we talking about?
Any playoffs, maybe. Any
okay.
playoffs. General playoff question.
Got it.
Star power and takeover players, longevity and health. What is the winning formula?
What's your opinion?
To me, and I ask this question generally, I think for the most part there is a winning formula across all four of the North American major
So I'm
sports.
curious what you got.
But for individual sports, there are certain more important things. I think longevity and health. Like, I just feel the teams that win it at the end are the teams that are the least banged up. Like, so often guys get, especially like baseball less so, but hockey, football, basketball, if you have a banged up team, it's just unlikely.
5 years ago tonight, the hand pass.
Hand pass, yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
And we never saw those boys together after they were so smug because the Blues just eviscerated them over the next couple of games and said, oh, we weren't playing handball out there. I didn't see a hand pass. Okay. Yeah. Let's beat the hell out of you the next couple of games. Then you won't even make the trip back to St. Louis for Game 6.
Yeah.
And we'll skull pound you and head off to the Stanley Cup final. So, yes, I agree with you on that. And that is, I think, one of the reasons why the Blues won the Cup. If we're going to isolate it on that run in the Stanley Cup final, the Blues would just, it was speaking of actually what we were just talking about with Kelly Chase, talking about Craig Berube, how they were able to roll 4 lines and just punish teams into making them feel brutal by the time that games 5, 6, and 7 rolled around. Matter of fact, I mean, the Blues certainly won 6 and 7 against the Stars. They won in 6 against the Jets. They won in 6 against the Sharks, and they won in 7 against the Bruins. Point being that they were dominant in the later portions of these series.
Absolutely.
They would roll and beat the hell out of teams. That's what they did. So there's truth to that, no question about it. The 2006 Cardinals, while looking surprising from a record standpoint, weren't healthy for a lot of the season, and they got healthy at the right time at the end of the year. So there's another example of it. Yeah,
and I think when you go specific, like with baseball, we've seen, especially recently, how important the 1-2 punch pitching-wise is. I mean, if you don't have that, it's going to be tough. When you're talking basketball, takeover players and stars is huge. You have to, you just have to have somebody like that who can completely take over a game. You have to. We've seen it every champion in the past, probably since 2000, where Pistons maybe being the one example of that not being the case. Maybe the Spurs. But either way, you take over star players, and then for football, again, I think it's all of the above. But health-wise, you got to be healthy. You got to be. I mean, what are the Chiefs if Mahomes goes down in the AFC Championship game? They're nothing. So, but to that point, the Eagles won their first Super Bowl with Nick Foles behind center. Yeah. So sometimes it's just, I've also talked about fate teams of destiny, where it just seems like they're going to win no matter what. The Chiefs were that last year. The Eagles certainly felt like that when they won their Super Bowl.
Your thoughts are welcome. 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. And, of course, the YouTube chat is always welcome for your questions. Jackson, what's your next question from the Ron Washington School of Leadership and Accountability?
Quick hitter.
I like a quick hitter.
What would be your walkout song / bullpen exit song if you played in the bigs? Also, are you a person where this answer would change month by month, or do you think you have a set jam?
Nah, Kim Carnes, Betty Davis Eyes. It just takes me to a good place from 2000 through about 2005 or 6 in Western Illinois at around 3 in the morning, 2-3 nights a week.
And that would just put a little smile on your face before you took an IB.
I need to be in a good headspace.
I'm just imagining the lights turning off like Ryan Helsley and you running out to that song.
I wouldn't run.
Yeah, right. It was
It'd be a Vince McMahon. Yeah.
How Trevor Bauer would walk off the mound. Yeah.
That's right.
I would go with Michael Cera singing These Eyes and Superbad.
That's nice.
Yeah. Just that a cappella. These eyes cry every night.
Clip that off. It's another promo. 2 promos in one show.
Yeah, it's a big day for us.
Jackson, I guess we got to go. It's 10:58. BK and Ferrari are coming your way next. For Jackson Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.